What's going on? Good.
So when you look at the numbers Washington State is posting on offense,
Yeah.
it's fair to say you're happy the bye week came when it came?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy the bye week came for two reasons. One, we were beat up, and you should be beat up this time of year, 5 games in. If you're playing physical football, you got a lot of nicks and bruises. And then they are unique. I mean, shoot, they're 546 yards a game total offense, 4th in the country. They're 8th in the country in scoring offense at 44 points a game. They're leading the country in passing offense at 450 yards a game. They have 8 guys with double-digit catches in 5 games. They have 5 guys with 20 or more catches in 5 games. That's amazing. I mean, the statistics are unbelievable. Coach Leach he might be the best quarterback coach in the history of this game, because if you look at his track record going all the way back to Kentucky, starting with Tim Couch, that guy was unbelievable in college. Okay, Josh Heupel, who we had committed in New Mexico, by the way, and Oklahoma stole on freaking Monday before signing day without visiting him. So, unbelievable. He's his quarterback coach, Heisman. Coach Kingsbury with the Cardinals was phenomenal under him. I mean, we played against him in 2002 at New Mexico. I mean, Sonny Cumbie, Graham Harrell. I mean, and he never misses. And those guys, they have unbelievable numbers every year. I mean, so I think it's Graham Harrell. No, it might be Sonny Cumbie. Still has the all-time passing yardage in college football, like 5,300 yards in one season. But they all have the same thing in common. They're all just relaxed in the pocket, and they pick you apart. And he has seen people defend him 1,000 different ways. Some people 3-man rush for the majority of the game and see if they can fool him with coverage. Some of them try and blitz him and see if you can get to him before he can throw it. So they've seen it all. And what's the most impressive thing is how well, not only the quarterbacks, they're just the system is well coached. And there's a lot of people that run the air raid system. Everybody tries to replicate the air raid system. Nobody does it like Mike Leach. It's just, I mean, now Graham Harrell's doing a pretty dang good job over at SC. I mean, I've seen just a couple of their games so far, and they're on that path. So I think Graham Harrell's an unbelievable coach too. But the receivers are so well coached. They read man and zone. They know when to shut down routes and find a pocket. They know when to convert them on man routes. And then when you 3-man rush them and the quarterback runs around out there, he ain't going to get vertical yards. He's going to throw it over the top of your head, and he's going to wait till somebody comes open, and you got to keep trying to get to him. So the bye week gives us an opportunity to try and prepare for it. There's 2 things on a bye week. When you're playing good, sometimes going on a bye week is not a good thing because you get off of track. But I think we needed the rest to heal up some guys. It was good for Kobe. I mean, I was shocked when now Kobe gets migraines throughout the time, and when I've never seen a young man that was his eyes, his pupils were so dilated. It was it made me nervous, and I don't get nervous about much. And I think Kobe's probably one of our toughest guys on defense. So for him to not be able to play in that was a surprise. And maybe it was maybe in all goodness it worked out good because we were able to win, and he was able to not have to do anything more damage on that hand. And then he has surgery, so we were going to play with it before surgery, and then have surgery the following day after calcium, and then we get surgery on Monday, and he was practicing Sunday, and today full go. So I'm excited about that. That you couldn't have done without a bye week. And then it gives you an opportunity to go back and look at your deficiencies and see what you need to improve on. So we had an opportunity to do that. This time of year, I spend a ton of hours up here. So, I mean, I over-indate our guys sometimes, especially on defense with what our expectation is and what we're not doing right and how to fix it. And so now, coming out of that, hopefully we'll play better and we'll coach them better.
So in the spring, you were very shallow up front, so you experimented with different things. And without revealing specifics, is this the type of opponent where that can come in handy with the way that you guys utilize it so far?
Yeah, I mean, I think absolutely. But I think you put your best 11 players that you think are going to be on the field. I mean, if we recruit to a point where we got 4 guys that can rush the passer and they can get there without having to stunt, we can be really good with 7 guys in coverage. We don't have that luxury right now, so we have to be inventive and create ways to try and get there. And yeah, I mean, we did some of that stuff in fall camp where we experiment with getting our best players on the field. Through spring ball, we did that, some from deficiency and some from just trying to see who our best players are. I don't think you can ever do something if you haven't practiced it and be successful at it. And so it gives us an advantage there that we've experimented with that stuff. But I mean, I think we're better when we do what we do and we try and get after somebody.
How do you weigh that challenge of coordinating and bringing a game plan together?
You know, I mean, when you're going against somebody like an Army or an Air Force or Navy, you do something completely unique, because if you try and run your regular stuff against a triple option, the fullback's going to end up with a concussion on the goalpost. And when that thing's working, you got no chance at winning that game. They don't, and over the previous 2 years, they've done a pretty good job of running the ball more than they had in the past. The idea is in this offense, though, if they dump it down, if they check it out of the backs and he gets 4 or 5 yards, that's a running play. That's a first down running play. That's a really good running play on first down. So they don't necessarily run the ball, but they run the ball. And they do it in different ways, and Borgie's a great back. And Anthony Gordon is just like all those other guys that I named earlier. He's one in the pipeline down the thing. So I think you got to give your guys the best chance to be successful, but you can't screw them up either. So I think there's a really fine line trying to do stuff that you can't do, and what are you going to be best at? So, I mean, we'll try and give our guys the best chance to be successful on Saturday afternoon. And I don't know, I mean, we want to attack, we don't want to defend. So
they can counter attack your pressure with screen game.
Absolutely.
And so how do you manage that challenge?
I think you gotta keep them guessing as much as you're guessing, and you've got to identify the tendencies. Now, I think another thing that Coach Leach is a great play caller. You don't see him with a big long call sheet. Usually he carries an index card, and their symbols are, I mean, their signals, they're quick. And now, give them, I mean, when they first started this deal, they were trying to run 100 plays a game. And they're really, I mean, since when he hired Alex Grinch in 2015, they kind of changed their philosophy on how they're going to go. I mean, they use a lot of the time clock now. They make sure that they're in the right formation. He gives the quarterbacks time to identify. If they don't like the look, they can change the play. And it's very easy verbiage for them. It looks, I mean, I've never been a part of that system, so I couldn't tell you, but they don't have to, it doesn't look complicated by the way, as fast as they're doing it. I mean, it doesn't look like it's 20-word signals. I mean, it's quick, and then they get the whole thing changed. So they're not going to be, they can go fast on big plays, but that's not what they've been doing lately. So you gotta be able to adjust as they're adjusting. It's a chess game. It's a cat and mouse game. If we hit the quarterback a few times, they're going to try and screen us to death. And if we don't play those, the one thing that he's really, really good at too is if you don't stop something, he keeps doing it and doing it and doing it until you stop it. And then when you stop it, they come to what gave you trouble earlier. I mean, they do a great job of being patient. He's one of the most patient coordinators I've ever seen, because he'll take what they get and not get over greedy. And he's good. That's why he's been successful everywhere he's been. And I mean, they do a good job recruiting up there to their system. I mean, they've got speed, they're athletic, and then number 12, Desmond Patman, is 6'4", and he looks like Nolan Matthews out there. And he goes up and gets the ball when they throw in the end zone. We recruited, he's a San Diego kid that goes to school about 2 blocks from San Diego State, and tried really hard, but the idea of catching 80 balls a year for a receiver, shoot, it's hard to recruit against. And so that's why they have such good talent up there. Because, I mean, they don't have a lot of advantages to recruits up there, but they've got a great system that they can get great receivers, and they've got a great running back, and he always finds a quarterback. It doesn't matter who it is; they always perform well.
Going back to what you said too on the he's seen everything. I mean, how big is it? I mean, you always hear you guys as coaches say like pre-snap read, not to give it away. I mean, literally waiting for shifting in the secondary, whatever, waiting till the ball snapped, not giving it away early. How is that something you're stressing even more this week?
Yeah, I mean, we do a pretty good job of that for the most part. I think they have because of a lot of our alignments, they have a hard time telling coverages. There's a catch-22 to that because their guys are so fast and so shifty. If you're showing too high and you're trying to run down there and play man coverage, well, you're going forward as they're coming at you, and that's a bad combination. So we got to be able to do it and make sure that the timing's right so that we give our guys a chance to be successful and sit there. You can't play loose coverage on these guys. You've got to be tight, and I mean, we have a lot of guys that are so over anxious to try and make plays right now in the secondary. A lot of times, I mean, that they're getting dirty eyes because they want to intercept every ball. They're getting dirty eyes because they're trying to make every play instead of just do your job and the plays will come. And so that's been the big emphasis over the last 2 weeks, to clean up the technique and clean their eyes up so that they can have the best chance to be successful. And if they do all those things right, then we'll get some balls in the air and we'll knock them around. And if we're chasing the ball hard enough, we'll get some of those. So that's been a big emphasis. And you have to make sure that the quarterback doesn't know exactly what it is, but he does a great job with them. I can't stress that enough. I mean, they do a good job of reading coverages, and the receivers are just as impressive, like I said.
Without getting any specifics, obviously, the game they had against Utah,
Mm-hmm.
was that more just Utah having their way, or Washington State just being way off as such an anomaly that maybe we take it with a grain of salt?
Well, I mean, if you watch early, it wasn't that way at all. I mean, the first series, they drive down the ball and they score a touchdown. I thought Utah did a phenomenal job keeping the ball away from them. They went on multiple drives that were 4, 5, 6 minutes long, that Washington State didn't get off the field, and they kept the ball away from their offense. If you can run the ball on them, that helps. Because I tell you what, when I'm standing like this, they ain't getting points and they ain't getting yards because we're watching the offense drive the ball, and that helps. But we got to be able to get off the field on third down. Through the first 2 weeks of the season, we were really good on third down. We were playing an inferior opponent, so we should have been. Okay, against Michigan State, we gave up 2 long third downs that those were plays that I expect our guys to make. I think they ended up 9 of 17 on third down. That very easily could have been 6 of 17 or 7 of 17. The 2-minute, we get a third down 2-minute that they convert on a penalty, a pass interference call. And then the very first third down on the game, Kobe's playing off a little bit soft on a 3rd and 9. They run an out route that he's right there when the ball gets there. It's catch tackle instead of knocking the ball out. The next week against Colorado, we did a terrible job on third down because there were so many third and shorts. We played terrible second down defense. Okay, we made some adjustments in the second half. We played better. We give up the long touchdown where we're in position to make the play. That's on a 2nd and 20. If we get a 3rd and 20, I mean, we hold them to a field goal. It's a different game. Those are the plays that we expect our guys to make. And then against Cal, they were, let me go back through my brain. I think they were 7 of 16 on third down. And that's still, 43%? That's not good enough. I mean, we got to be around 35% to be successful in where we want to be and have a good ratio. So if we can get off the field on third down and then our offense can maintain some drives, they won't have as many plays. We got to make sure that the quarterback's indecisive, but we got to get to him and hit him so those guys don't have to cover him all day. Because I think that's a great job that they do, and Utah did a great job of when he broke contain. He doesn't want to get vertical yards, like I said, but he finds guys open. They kept chasing him, and they hit him hard a couple times on their 3-man rush that he felt hurried when he was running around back there. Normally, if you don't get pressure with your 3-man rush, I mean, it's unbelievable. He stands back there, and it's like this. He ain't even bouncing. I mean, he just stands there until somebody comes open, and then they deliver. And he's got an overarm throw. He's got a sidearm throw. I mean, they do a really good job. So we've got to make sure when we do send 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 that we got to make contact with the quarterback and make him feel uncomfortable. And when they're uncomfortable, they don't throw it as good. That's any quarterback. When they think they're going to get hit, they overthrow the ball. They underthrow the ball. They miss some reads. So if he can stand back there all day like Montez did, we're going to be in trouble. So we can't allow him to.
You talked about Kobe earlier, but having Kobe and Phillips back for this game seems like the perfect time.
It does. I mean, we got a Cam's practice all week. We got him a brace for his elbow. If you've ever had a dislocated elbow, it's when it gets straightened out that you have the issue. I mean, he's right here, and we have it in a brace where it's locked, but you make a tackle, you go something hard, and it gets opened up like that. That's an unbelievable pain. So the fact that he made a play on Sunday in practice where he used that arm, and I think it gave him some confidence because he was smiling instead of, I mean, you never know when those guys, I mean, it's like, oh gosh, he's going to be out for 2 weeks, or oh, hey, there we go, nice job, great. And so that was good. It was confidence. He's smiling. I think Cam has really matured since the time he's been here. He's gotten a lot tougher than when he first got here, and that's just growing up. I mean, true freshmen, the speed of the game is so fast, the physicalness. I mean, those collisions are violent. And I thought in the Michigan State game, down on the sideline, there were some really violent collisions. That stuff is eye-opening for a young man that is coming out of high school. And all of a sudden, when you get dinged up, it hurts a little more. In the Cal game, Cal on defense, they're physical. I think our kids are physical on defense. There was a lot of violent collisions in that game. I mean, Evan Weaver's a really, really good player. Cameron Bynum, their corner, he's a really, really good player who's very physical too. He'll throw it around like Chase and Jack and those guys, and they'll come up there and throw their bodies around. So as those guys get older and stronger, those injuries, they seem to come over, they get over them quicker. A dislocated elbow, you never know. And so I'm really proud of where Cam's at this moment, having Cam and Kobe and Chase and Jack and Ashari, and then Willie and Kewan playing at the level that they're playing at for true freshmen. It gives you an opportunity to keep those guys fresh if they're having a lot of plays. And I think we got talent in the back end that if we can get pressure, we can cover them. I mean, you can't cover anybody for 6 seconds. If the quarterback stands back there and has all day, they're going to pick you apart. And so we got to be inventive and find ways to get to them and cover them and disguise our coverages enough so he doesn't know. I mean, when it's too high, we want to look like one high. When it's zero, we got to make it look like one high and run into it. I mean, we got to do all that stuff, and we've done a fairly good job of that so far. We need to be tight in coverage and make plays. It's going to come down to effort and making plays. They know what to do because we've had 2 weeks. Assignments and effort. If they're flying around and they're mean and nasty and physical and they want to try and hurt somebody every time the receiver catches the ball, and we got 9 or 10 of them trying to kill that dude, I mean literally trying to just run him into the ground, then all of a sudden balls start rolling on the ground and they don't want to catch it and run. They want to catch it and cringe, and that's what the idea is. If we don't play with that effort, then you see what they do. They score, let's shoot, go through their games, I mean, 59, 50, 63, 40. I mean, Houston held them to 31, and they had a touchdown call back. And then Utah did a great job keeping the ball away and got after the quarterback. And they've got good DBs too. They run around and they got after him. And Coach Leach they're going to be fired up because he got after him. And I promise you, it's not the first time they've heard that stuff. He's been very successful. They've won 27 games in the last 3 years for a reason. Not because they're soft and they have easy feelings. They don't get their feelings hurt around there, I promise. You ever been to Pullman, Washington? You ain't gonna get your feelings hurt there. You ain't gonna be soft from there. I mean, there's one thing to do there. Go to college and play football. Take care of your academics. Have a little bit of fun because we talk to our guys about it all the time. There's 3 aspects of a student athlete. A student athlete has to go to school and be good at academics. I mean, that's your ticket to life. Doesn't matter. Football is an opportunity. Even if you play in the NFL for 10 years, you should have a financial opportunity to be good, but you still have to do something else because if you're successful in the NFL and you play for 10 years, you're 33 years old. You're going to get bored as heck if you don't have something to do. I mean, I'll give you Brian Urlacher is a perfect example. That he did a great job investing his money. He owns a maintenance company here in the valley. Okay, the sucker rides his mountain bike. If you get on Strava, you can find him. He's the king of the mountain. I mean, he freaking works out, but he's got something to do. Okay, he's got the maintenance company to keep him busy. If they don't have an education, they can't do that stuff. So that's the most important academics. And you're getting your opportunity to get your school paid for. So you're a student athlete and you get to play football. And then the social life. Well, you can be good at 2 of the 3. You ain't gonna be good at all 3. It's impossible. You can be really good at 2 of the 3. And if you make the 2 right and you're good at football and you're successful, well, guess what? Everybody knows who you are as a football player. And your social life's unbelievable. You walk around campus, if you walk around our campus right now, and this is where we're getting to handling success. Excuse me, that's disgusting. 18th in the country, great. I haven't heard a whole lot of mention about it. Coach mentioned it in our meeting this morning. Well, guess what? If you want to be good, you have to learn how to handle success. I talk about it all the time. I hate when you guys write good stuff about our guys because then they believe it. Believed it before the Colorado game, and look, we go out there and we lay an egg. Okay? Well, if we want to be who we want to be, get used to it. Write about it. And don't believe it. Don't pat yourself on the back because when you get your tail whooped, ain't nobody around here feel sorry for you. So don't. Deal with it. Okay? Now, if the expectation is to be in the top 15th in the country, which we talked about, then go out and win when you're 18th ranked in the country. Perform at a high level. And that's coaches and players. Okay? Every single one of our football players are walking around campus right now with their T-shirts on, with their cheap jerseys with the name on their back. And everybody knows who they are because we won a few games. Everybody's telling them how great they are. Well, good. Handle it. Okay? Don't get arrogant. Don't think you've arrived. Don't think Washington State's going to lay down just because you show up because you have the number 18 in front of you. Because guess what? Colorado didn't. Okay, San Diego State didn't last year. So deal with it. It's the world we want to be in. Okay, it's the world that we crave around here. Not just, I mean, our football team, our community, Tempe, we want to be elite. Well, then show up. Be elite. Show up to practice and work your tail off every day. Give yourself a chance to win on Saturday because you prepared Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. You don't show up on Saturday and win. You don't coast through Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You can give them opportunities to get fresh, but you got to work hard. There's no replacement for hard work. And if you ain't going to work hard, then you're going to get your tail whooped. If you do, then we'll keep climbing and keep building and keep building this program up. We're having these conversations with freshmen and sophomore. It's really easy to feel good about yourself. It's just like you have a really pretty girlfriend. It's really good to feel good about yourself. I have a beautiful wife. I walk around, I'm as proud as can be. But you know what? If you don't take care of your girlfriend, if you don't take care of football, if you don't take care of school, it's going to slip away. And I promise you this, if you ain't taking care of her, somebody else is. So you better keep focused on what you're doing. Because if you ain't keeping focus out here on the football field, somebody else is going to come and whoop your tail. That's what we're trying to teach them. And if we want to be elite, they better listen. And getting this age group to listen, it's a different world now. And I'll tell you what, if somebody can find those magic beans where they listen to everything, like our training room has, I'm going to see if Jerry can get some of those psychological beans, you'll be a millionaire. You'll be a genius. And so I guess part of coaching is figuring that out. So we have fun with them.
To kind of go off that, ask Coach Edwards on Monday about, they always hear Coach say this time of the year, you guys obviously play a lot of freshmen, retro freshmen, but you're not freshmen anymore.
Right.
First year players, how do you feel that, the sophomores, like you said, obviously played last year, but they've kind of held those freshmen and not looking at them as freshmen, but like you said, expecting them to make plays, but they kind of adjust as well to that?
Some of them have. Probably the ones that have played the most have the most. I mean, I say it all the time. Ashard Croswell is the perfect example. He wasn't very good early. He was really good by the end of the year because he got the bulk of the reps. Willie is probably a little bit further along than Kewan in experience because he played the entire game against Cal because Cam was hurt. Is he physically better? Probably not. Is he more athletic? Probably not. I think they're both probably identical. And I don't think there's a significant drop-off between those two and Ashari and Cam. I think we have 4 really elite guys that can play Ranger. 2 of them, or you can say 2.5 if you consider Willie, have played quite a few snaps. Cam and Ashari being the most, is the most experienced. So he doesn't overreact in situations. Now, I wear those guys out all the time because I have these unbelievable expectations for them. And when we make mistakes in practice, last year it was, okay, you know what, you'll learn, blah, blah. Well, it ain't that way anymore. I expect them to be perfect. Practice until you can't get it wrong. And they know when they get a glare that, okay, I've screwed up too many times. It's time it's focus in. When they have that attitude, then you've got a chance. When they bark back at you, you're in trouble. And they bark back at me, we might fight. So they have enough belief in what we're doing, and we've got a really good, respectful group. Now, I'll tell you what, every single one of them will whoop my tail. We're going to fight, but I go down fighting. I mean, it would be good. But they're big, strong athletes, and you know what? They don't know how nuts I might be, so they're probably afraid too a little bit. So that's good. I mean, that's part of football. I mean, that's what we're aspiring to be. That's what we want. That's the attitude we want. Doesn't matter. You ain't ever afraid to go into a fight. I mean, every time we leave the locker room, it's let's go fight these boys. Let's go get it on because, I mean, that's who we want to be. And they got the 18 rank tag on, great. Go make it 15. Go make it. That's the world we want to live in. We got to stop being afraid to talk about it. But at the same time, they got to handle it. They can't think they've arrived. And so, the question about being freshmen, handle it. I mean, we're gonna keep preaching it because that's the world we want to live in. And eventually, you got to get to where you win every single game. When you win every single game, then you get in that talk. And if we lose Saturday, then all this talk that we did, it went in one ear and out the other. And you keep building. But I think they've worked hard through the bye week. Hopefully it'll be 95 to 100 degrees. I think it's supposed to be 88 on Saturday, which is a little depressing, but I'd love it to be 100 degrees because I promise you this, it was 55 in Pullman the other day. It wasn't 90. I think I talk about it all the time. I think there's a little bit of an advantage here in September. Well, we're into October, so hopefully that'll help. I thank the Pac-12 for giving us the 12:30 game because it'll be hot. I apologize for the fans, but bring a fan, whatever. Let's make this place noisy and loud. I think we have a great fan base that is very passionate, and I think my opinion is, I think Doug wrote a great article the other day, the hypothetical article. I thought that was awesome. When they are complaining about what you're doing, when they're complaining about not being good enough, that means they care. That means they're invested. That means they think you got a chance to be good. When they start writing you off, well, you tell the kids, guess what? You better we're going to have to go find a new school because Daddy's going to be moving. And right now, we got a community that's behind this team that really has a great passion for winning. And we're trying to build this thing the right way, and we've made progress. But we got a great opportunity Saturday to have a great environment out there. It'll be hot, which is what we talk about. There was somebody that I saw on Twitter. I talked about it when Kent State got off the field playing the first game of the season. I wanted them to feel like they just walked into hell. That's the advantage we should have here in Sun Devil Stadium. And it's going to be 90 degrees on Saturday at 12:30. I hope they feel like they've walked into hell, and then I hope our boys come tenacious and we're violent and nasty. And when they leave here, they limp out of this place because we whooped them. We'll see. We'll see. Talk the talk. We'll see if we walk the walk.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, guys. Where's Doug? Is he down there? No, he's outside. Yay, Abby.